What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here. I thought today we'd just have a little fun. I'm going to run down each playoff series, give a little prediction, maybe with a little bit of an angle from a card perspective. We'll just kind of see. I just figured I'd kind of throw this out there for a Saturday video. Something fun to discuss in the comments down below. I am recording this prior to, as you can see on the screen here, I have the ESPN scoreboard up. I am recording this prior to the HawksCavs and the Pelicans-Clippers game, so I'll give some quick predictions on those as well. Curious for your thoughts in the comments down below. Who is your East and West NBA Conference finalist? Who is going to make the NBA Finals? Mine, right off the get, which is boring, is Suns-Bucks. I think the Suns take it, to be quite honest, so I'll throw that one out there. Curious for your thoughts on that one in the comments down below. HawksCavs tonight, I honestly, and once again, you guys and girls know what happened already, so this is always a little weird. At the time of recording, I do not know that Jarrett Allen is for sure playing. If he does, I would feel better about the Cavs' chances. If he does not, I think it'll be a little bit of a trickier situation. So I'll go out and say, I'll go homer on this one and say Cavs win a close one because of the home court advantage in this game. Late game, I did see that Paul George is out with health and safety protocols. I'm going to go with the Pelicans in this one, though I think it ends up being a lot closer than probably what a lot of people think. I know the spread's only one, but this Clippers team can be a little feisty sometimes, and they are used to playing without Paul George. But I just want chaos, and to me, the Pelicans making the playoffs is a little bit of chaos. So I'm going with that one. And once again, you guys and girls know what happened in those games already. Let's get to the fun ones, the weekend ones. And I'm just going to go in the order that these games are happening. Jazz Mavs, this one's disappointing because of the Luka injury. This kind of threw this whole series out of whack. Prior to this, I thought the Mavs were going to win this series easily. Now, I think the Jazz probably win. I have a feeling Luka's more hurt than they're letting on, and that we may not even see him for this entire series, but we'll see. This one's going to come down to if Luka's healthy or not, and how many games they can actually get out of him. I don't think they're going to be able to get very many, so for an official pick, I'll take the Jazz, but if Luka makes a miraculous recovery, that could really swing things. From a card perspective on this one, I was kind of hoping the Jazz would lose and maybe swoop in and get some Donovan Mitchell on the low if they had an ugly first series. But now they could win a round, and then who knows what's going to happen. So that kind of shot that one out the window. Luka stuff, I would definitely be looking to buy a Luka discount if it happens. I still believe in Luka long term, and if his stuff's just going to keep getting cheaper, I'll look to pick up some more. I currently only own 2 Luka rookies at the moment, the PSA 10 Mosaic and a PSA 9 Optic Hollow. I own no Donovan Mitchell stuff. Going backwards to Friday night, to the Cavs Hawks specifically, I would be a buyer on Garland or a Trae Young discount if their cards dip post not making the NBA playoffs. I would be watching auctions on both those guys if I could. Trae, once again, go look at his numbers. He had an outstanding offensive season. That team's just in a weird spot, and I could see them shaking the snow globe this offseason, and potentially making some trades that could spike his stuff a little bit, but we'll see. Timberwolves Grizzlies. This would be my second favorite series behind the Cavs if they make it. If they don't, this is the series I am most excited to watch. I just think this is going to be a ton of fun. Ant-Man versus Ja, Pat Beverly versus Ja, Cat, the young and fun Grizzlies with Desmond Bane and Triple J. Absolutely super excited to lock in on this one. I have a wedding tomorrow in the afternoon, on Saturday afternoon, right when this game tips off. So I'm going to miss probably most of this game, unfortunately. That's sad. I just realized that looking at the time. But I do think that this game is going to be, or this series has the most fun potential. And it also has probably some of the most hobby impact. If Ja and Ant-Man have this epic duel, that could do really good for their cards. Especially, say Ja wins, but Ant-Man plays really well. That's going to build a lot of momentum potentially for his stuff in the next season. He was a guy that I was not sure could be an A. I thought he was always just going to be a scorer. We'll see what happens. This is his chance to potentially level up. Um, whether he can or not, I don't know. It looks like he has the potential to. He's looked really good this season in certain spaces. Ja is obviously electric. I am a little scared about Patrick Beverley guarding him for a playoff series and not, amputating a leg or something. Hopefully Ja can stay safe and that the Memphis Grizzlies win. I will pick the Grizzlies officially to win this one, but I do think this is going to be a really fun series. 76ers Raptors. I'm going with the Raptors here right out the get. I don't know how sexy of a pick that is actually going to be. I think Embiid does dominate. I think this really comes down to how good, which James Harden the 76ers get. I think Tyrese Maxey could show some flashes. What I really believe is this is going to be the Pascal Siakam reemergence and the Scotty Barnes coming out party. Siakam's quietly had a really good season that no one's noticed, or most people haven't noticed. Scotty Barnes has also played extremely well. Evan Mobley was the runaway rookie of the year, and then he kind of got hurt down the stretch, opened the door for Barnes, and now I think it's closer than a lot of people think. And Scotty Barnes is really, really good, and I'm not sure how many people actually know that. So potentially on how this series goes, those are my two card takeaways, is that this could be a coming out party for Siakam. I don't know what his stuff is at right now. I have to imagine it's pretty cheap. And this could put Scotty Barnes on a lot more people's radars. So if you're hoping to get Scotty Barnes on the cheap, because product hasn't come out yet, this could potentially mess that up. He is just all over the court, both offensively and defensively, and a very key player for the Raptors squad. I don't like that the 76ers are missing Thibault in games in Toronto. And the 76ers just scare the hell out of me. They just seem like a mess waiting to happen. And like I said, that being said, Embiid is going to put up monster stat lines most likely. But I will, to force the pick, I will take the Raptors here. Warriors Nuggets is another one with everything very injury related. Assuming Steph Curry is halfway healthy, I think the Warriors win this one. If Steph Curry is supposed to play, but if he re-injures or is just not himself at all, maybe the Nuggets have a chance. I don't know that there's really a lot here from a card perspective unless the Nuggets would maybe win, but I still don't see them going far. A lot of this will just come down to health overall for the Warriors. We'll see how they come out of this series on the opposite end and who they end up matching up against next round. But as long as Steph Curry is remotely ambulatory, I think the Warriors win this one. I'm not going to say easily because the Nuggets are a tough out, but I think the Warriors take this series. Not sure that there's any really major card impacts here unless Curry comes out looking like MVP Steph Curry, and then maybe that shifts his market. Moving over to the Sunday games, the Heat, we don't really know who they're playing yet. I actually, of the top seeds, I think the Heat are the most vulnerable. Maybe I'm just saying that because the Homer Cavs is sneaking out in me a little bit, or the fact that I really like Trae Young, if it ends up being the Hawks. But if there was going to be a major upset in round one, let me say it this way. As a Cavs fan, I would much rather the Heat or the Cavs play the Heat than the Bucks or the Celtics. I am less scared of the Heat than the other two teams. That being said, the Heat could still come out and maybe sweep the Cavs and or the Hawks. But as someone that has a couple Trae Young cards and as someone that is a big Cavs fan, I would rather play the Heat than the other two. I'm sure Kenny Fornos won't like to hear that. He's a big Heat guy, but is what it is. So that's my take there without knowing who the actual matchup is. Nets Celtics. I think this is the Celtics series. I think the Nets make it a little feisty, but I do think the Celtics obviously end up taking this one in the long run. The KD Kyrie thing, they are absolutely fantastic. I just think they're going to get worn down. They're going to need to play 40 minutes a night. I'm just not sure how long that's viable for. I think the Celtics pull this out, even with 0 to potentially limited Robert Williams, the Time Lord in this series. But I will go ahead and put my prediction down on the Celtics officially. I think they win this one and move on to the next round. And we'll see what happens with Tatum and Brown stuff. Brown cards have been kind of meh for the most part. They really haven't been doing much one way or the other. Tatum stuff's obviously been up quite a bit over the last month. So we'll see where his market continues to trend depending on how the playoffs go. On the opposite end of the spectrum, I've been talking about KD for a while. His stuff just keeps getting cheaper and cheaper. And even if they do win this series, I do not expect them to make a finals run. I just do not think they have the bodies. So I would potentially look to swoop in on some KD discounts in the offseason if they arise. Bulls Bucks. I think this is the Bucks by a mile. The Bulls have been a mess since they kind of fell apart with injuries, kind of like the Cavs. They lost Ball, they lost Caruso, they lost Patrick Williams for a while. They're slowly getting some of those bodies back, but they just seem disoriented now. And the Bucks are the Bucks. They are really, really good. I think they kind of win this series going away. Not really much card impact here wise. There's really no one super sexy on the Bulls. And on the Bucks, it's all about Giannis. So it would just continue to cement Giannis' stuff on a march for a potential second title. And then last but not least, Suns versus TBD. I don't think it honestly matters. I think the Suns just boat race whoever they get. I guess the Clippers would be a slightly more interesting story than the Pelicans, but I doubt it. Suns look like a monster. Booker, Paul are going to march through the Western Conference is my prediction. Be very interested to see. I think Booker, to me, is the one player that could get a lot of helium card price-wise if they make a deep run, which I do think that they will. All depends on how he plays, if he has big games, or is he overshadowed by Chris Paul or some of the other guys on that team. But Booker looks like the real deal, and I think he does have some potential to see increases. I haven't bought any. I'm not saying go out and buy him or anything like that. But if you were asking me one star player that could potentially see a rise based off a deep playoff run, I think Booker has the chance to see the biggest increases if this could just be a coming out party for him. So once again, curious for your thoughts and predictions down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will catch you guys and girls on the next one. Peace.